The movie starts off with the majestic view of a beautiful city. We hear clapping and a man who seems very posh stands up. This man is a very renowned neurosurgeon who is getting felicitated. He gets on stage and looks over at everyone present in the audience. He stands in front of the podium and starts his speech along with a group of other renowned people. He is a prodigy in surgery and has been selected as the leader of the International Congress of Neurosurgery organization. He gives a heartfelt speech and everyone claps. The city bustles as cars and bikes move around. The surgeon, Ken, is a playboy and loves messing around. After his initial achievement, he goes to a bar and chats with a lot of friends. He drinks and dances as he notices a girl looking at him seductively. He knows what he wants and so, they spend the night together. He leaves a small note for her as he goes about running errands. The city is beautiful and Ken drives around to get to his job. He works even in the car as the driver tries to make small talk with him about the heavy raining nowadays. Just then, he gets a call from another fellow doctor. They talk about an old patient of his whose condition has recently gotten worse. Ken tells the doctor that he's on his way and to check the patient's vitals till he gets there. The fellow doctor agrees and hangs up. On the other hand, a young girl wakes up in the morning and opens a box. It consists of different clothes and she starts off working on the clothes. Ken comes back to his apartment and starts to change. The girl designs and sews clothes for a living. On the other hand, Ken quickly dresses up and gets ready for the hospital. The girl takes the bus and goes to her destination and Ken leaves his apartment with a suitcase again. He's in a rush. The girl whose name is Zeynep also works as a maid in Ken's apartment. When she sees a note stating he'll be out of the country, she reads the note that gave her instructions on all the chores to tend to. She starts doing her work. Ken is in a seminar talking about some critical cases whose operations seem too dangerous. He's telling the board about his plans when his friend and colleague, Tufan, interrupts him. Everyone starts debating on the procedure and the probability of the patient's survival. They finally come to a conclusion and Ken leaves the meeting. Zeynep opens the windows to his apartment and feels the cool breeze caressing her face. She continues working on the apartment and taking care of his things. Ken and Tufan talk on their way to various operations. They chat and laugh together as another fellow doctor approaches them and congratulates him on Ken's presidency. She proposes to have a party for this occasion and celebrate, but Ken declines, saying he is busy the following weekend with other activities. He's not just a surgeon but also a very diligent professor. They try to convince him but can't. The doctor understands and bids him goodbye. Tufan tells him his colleague, Baron, is single and quite cute. It would be best to settle down with her but Ken doesn't care. He goes on his way and has a very hectic schedule. Due to an emergency, Ken comes back to the hospital after canceling his trip to attend to a serious patient. The doctors surrounding him are astounded by Ken's exceptional skill. Zeynep is finishing up her chores when she gets a call from her distressed sister. She tells her that her house had been locked. Their landlord had them kicked out and Zeynep is stressed. Her sister, Alif, decides to go to an acquaintance's house and asks Zeynep about her plans. Zeynep tells Alif to calm down and that she'd take care of the landlord problem. She hangs up. At the hospital, Baron comes to greet him and jokes about how she didn't really jinx his trip cancellation. Tufan teases him about how she was deliberately flirting with him, but Ken dismisses it. Ken doesn't know who to take to the party since he's not at all interested in settling down. Tufan tells him to just stick with Baron and plan a future ahead. Ken doesn't think much about it and goes back home. At the apartment, Ken comes back to see Zeynep sleeping on the couch. He's stunned to see her there. He stares at her and tries to get her to wake up but she's fast asleep. He clicks her pictures and sends them to his assistant, Selma, to ask who she is. She tells him that she's a housekeeper. Ken lets her sleep in the morning. He wakes her up by creating a lot of noise as he doesn't want to confront her. She panics as she sees him and stutters to get an answer out. He asks her to calm down and take a deep breath before speaking. She explains the situation to him and tells him that it was the first time she ever stayed there and never stole a thing. Ken asks her how much debt she's got and Zeynep tells him everything. She plans to go ask some other people for help and promises to never stay the night at his apartment anymore. But Ken gets an idea. He has to take a +1 to the party and he didn't want it to be Baron. The only plausible solution would be to take Zeynep. Zeynep starts packing up to go, but Ken stops her saying he wants her to be his partner and leaves him after a couple hours as he's not looking for attachment. He tells her he'll pay all her debt if she agrees and Zeynep is stunned at the offer. He asks her not to stay the night ever again and she gladly agrees. He tells her not to worry about anything and her hair, dresses and house will be taken care of by his assistant. He leaves before she can say anything. As he's leaving, she asks him to look at the case study pertaining to her neighbor who's quite sick. All the doctors think she cannot be cured, so Ken agrees to look into the problem and find a cure if he can. He goes away in his car and Zeynep runs to the house. She is extremely happy and enjoys life at the moment, but Ken is the opposite. He's always engrossed in his work and tending to patients. Zeynep helps strangers all the time and makes everyone smile, but Ken only looks at children like patients and nothing more. He makes sure he doesn't worry them and teaches his students proper etiquette as well. Zeynep is on the phone with her neighbor and she tells them about the offer. Her neighbor, Bade, is quite skeptical about the offer since Ken always has a different woman in his house, but Zeynep tells her not to worry and that she's not giving up this offer anytime soon. Bade tells her to think calmly, but Zeynep is too desperate to get her house back. They talk for a while, but Bade's condition and Zeynep assure her that Ken will look into it. Ken tells Tufan that the problem is solved and he'll be taking Zeynep to the party. Tufan is shocked but just taunts him. Meanwhile, the two of them look into Bade's condition and it's very serious. It's almost impossible to meddle with. They're pretty sure that this case cannot be cured. Just then, Baron comes in all dolled up and shows Ken his recently published article in the newspaper. They chat and laugh for a while and she leaves. Tufan continues teasing him about it. Back home, Ken's driver takes Zeynep to a lavish designer store for her dress, where she is greeted warmly. The designer looks her up and down and asks her to try different dresses. She is then headed to the salon to get her hair and makeup done. Finally, the party commences and Ken meets up with the hospital owner and his wife. He's talking to them when Baron comes. She has her eyes on Ken and walks straight towards him. Ken tries to avoid her and just then, Zeynep walks in looking absolutely stunning. He cannot take his eyes off her and walks up to her instantly to avoid Baron. Baron is shocked to find out Ken has a girlfriend as he introduces Zeynep as his lover. Everyone is impressed by Ken's choice and Zeynep's beauty. He asks her to call her Ken and just behave in a calm manner. Ken tells her exactly what to say so they can leave early without raising suspicions. He takes her to meet Baron and the owner. Baron is enraged but doesn't show it. He lies about her occupation, saying she has a company of her own. They talk for a while and leave to attend the party. Zeynep and Ken also walk hand in hand to the party, pretending to be a couple madly in love. Tufan sees the couple and rushes to them, as Zeynep is distressed about messing up. Tufan chats up to her and Zeynep giggles. Ken leaves for a moment as Tufan gets drinks for himself and her. They start taking shots, but it's too strong for Zeynep. She complains that it's burning, but Tufan urges her to drink more so that she gets used to it. Ken comes back, but so does Ms. Gulgun, the owner's wife. She takes Zeynep away to discuss business. Zeynep hesitates but gets dragged away nonetheless. Ken runs behind them as Tufan keeps asking to flirt with Zeynep. Zeynep is paired up with some businessmen who want to talk to her about cleaning supplies. She manages to evade the topic long enough for Ken to take her away. A toast starts and Ken is applauded for his incredible achievement. He goes to the stage and gives a speech whilst making everyone laugh. The dancing starts and Zeynep really enjoys herself while getting drunk by the second. Tufan and Zeynep dance and have fun as Ken interrupts them. He takes the shot glasses from Tufan's hand to make sure they don't pass out and drinks it himself. Zeynep acts bewildered to see Ken caring for her as he takes her hand and they start dancing. They sway from side to side and giggle among each other as they're both clearly drunk. He asks her to hold her drink until they exit the party but is glad she had fun. Baron is way too jealous after seeing the two dance and leaves quickly. Mr. Hamdi, the owner, comes and asks them to accompany him after the party but Ken declines. Mr. Hamdi insists and Ken says no, but they get dragged in anyway. There Zeynep sees a place which just so happens to be Mr. Hamdi's private jet. Zeynep is astounded and gets on it along with Ken, Mr. Hamdi and his wife. They buckle into the seats and Zeynep grips onto her seat tightly as she's extremely scared of flying. Ken holds her hand the entire time to support her and Zeynep appreciates that. They fly off and reach a picturesque place with water as clear as glass in the morning. Ms. Gulgun apologizes for dragging them and asks them to rest for a while after the long flight. They walk away and Ken apologizes for this. Zeynep tells him not to worry since she wouldn't ever see such a beautiful view in her entire life. They chat all along the way and walk into Mr. Hamdi's outhouse. There everything is prepared for them and Zeynep is stunned by the beauty and the view. They're both very tired and decide to sleep, but there's only one bed. Zeynep tells him she'll sleep on the bed and Ken can sleep on the bed, but he declines. He tells her to rest as he's used to not getting sleep. Zeynep feels bad and offers to share the bed since it's huge. Ken is way too tired and agrees. He tells her to change as he has to handle some things. He goes out of the room and tells his assistant to postpone all his surgeries as he isn't in the city anymore. After making sure all of his work is postponed, he goes into the room to see Zeynep fast asleep. He carefully gets on the other side of the bed and tries to sleep but can't. Even Zeynep is just pretending to fall asleep, but in fact, they're both wide awake despite being tired. In the morning, Ken finds Zeynep gone. He changes into some new clothes and joins Mr. Hamdi and his wife, but Zeynep is nowhere to be seen. Ms. Gulgun tells him that Zeynep has gone for a walk to wander around. Ken goes to find her and calls for her. Zeynep appears from behind some bushes with some freshly plucked fruits. She offers them to Ken and he eats it. They're delicious and he compliments her. She talks about the beautiful place and Ken calls her beautiful as well and someone who adapts to places easily. He's slowly falling for her but doesn't realize it just yet. He gets a call from his assistant telling him everything is handled. They're about to go have breakfast when Ken tells her to not talk to him formally as her boss anymore, and Zeynep agrees. He tells her about Bade, whose condition is very severe, and although the tumor in her brain isn't cancerous, it's very rare and deep-seated. He tells her to not operate and let her live out the rest of her days in peace and happiness as she only has a couple months to live. Tears stream down her eyes but she quickly composes herself. They join Mr. Hamdi for breakfast. Everyone compliments Zainab on her beauty and Mr. Hamdi asks her about the view. She appreciates it and tells them she'd make dinner tonight. Mr. Hamdi agrees, saying he has matters to discuss with Ken anyway. They finish breakfast and soon go on their own ways. Zainab and Ken roam around the city and have fun together. They go to shops and Ken buys her anything she wants. She thanks him for it and they go sightseeing. Soon, Ken gets tired and asks to stop. Zainab isn't tired and asks him to continue since she isn't, and there's so many places to go to. Ken tells her he's always busy and never gets to exercise. If he stops, somebody's life might stop as well. Zainab understands but continues urging him to walk. He asks to take a picture but she declines, saying she wants to live in the moment. Ken insists nonetheless, saying he wants a picture with her. He takes a beautiful picture and they go to a cafe. They sit there and talk about all the beautiful houses and lush green trees. Zainab tells him how she'd alter some houses according to her needs and Ken listens carefully. He asks her about her family, to which she replies that she only has Alif, her sister, as her parents died in a car accident some time ago. After that, she's the one who takes care of her sister's expenses. Alif completely depends on Zainab for her studies and money, which disappoints her, since Alif doesn't seem to see her struggle. In the process of telling her story, she calls Ken a person who has no regard for others' struggles and apologizes instantly. She feels guilty and an awkward silence ensues. It's night and Zainab prepares dinner. Everyone is impressed by her cooking. They thank her for the delicious meal. Ms. Gulgan even asks her for the delicious meal and she happily agrees to teach her. They're chatting gleefully when Ms. Gulgan brings up Zainab's business again and talks about how so many people want to invest in her company for sterilization. She is deep into the topic and asks to set dates. This makes Ken and Zainab very uncomfortable and Zainab can't take it anymore. She is fed up with the lies and blurts out that she doesn't have a company and that she only works in Ken's apartment as a cleaner. Tension settles in as everyone is shocked and Ken senses the awkwardness. Zainab excuses herself and walks away amid the silence as no one knows what to say. She goes to her room and panics as Ken also runs in. She tells him she can't keep up with lies and thought she would handle it but couldn't. He profusely apologizes but Ken tells her sorry instead for dragging her into all this mess. He says he didn't want people questioning him, so he lied thinking they wouldn't get in trouble. They both stay silent for a while and Ken leaves the room and asks her to rest, since they're leaving in the next morning. At night, Mr. Hamdi and Ken discuss some legal matters and he tells Ken to console Zainab since she's a very nice girl and doesn't deserve to be sad. Ken agrees. In the morning, Ken and Zainab go their separate ways. He already has a deep liking towards her. He asks her if she's going to his apartment but she replies she isn't since it's not her turn. She offers to clean the apartment but Ken just tells her to go home and rest. She agrees and gets into his car. Ken blushes the whole ride to the hospital. At home, Bade asks everything and says she almost died of curiosity. Zainab laughs and says that the doctor proposed to her as a joke. Bade believes it but soon realizes that she's joking and Zainab laughs. She tells Bade all about the wonderful ride and vacation and she keeps teasing her. Zainab shuts her down, saying Ken is only using her against women that want him, and she's just a net to obstruct the flies, but Bade doesn't care. She claims that he surely is in love with her if nothing else, and Zainab doesn't care. Bade soon asks about the CD and Zainab doesn't know what to say. She just replies saying it's the same and there's nothing new, which crushes Bade, as she realizes she probably doesn't have much time to live. Just then, Alif comes in and hugs Zainab, saying she got accepted to an American university, and they both celebrate. They jump up in joy but Bade silently cries as her life is coming to an end. At the hospital, Ken is sitting in the hospital park, eating on his own when Tufan comes in. He tells Ken about everyone gossiping about Zainab and promises to not reveal her identity. He teases Ken for taking her to a vacation despite him saying it wasn't his plan. Tufan teases Ken, saying he's in love with Zainab and that's why he's changed so much, but Ken gets irritated, not wanting to talk about it as he doesn't want to admit he's in love with her. He walks away as Tufan continues making fun of him as he's finally fallen for someone. He goes inside the hospital and greets everyone with kindness, and all the hospital staff is shocked at this drastic behavior change. He talks to a kid politely and even hugs him. At night, Bade and Zainab sit together and talk about Alif. She's gone to celebrate with her friends and Zainab is sewing Alif's favorite shirt to fit her, even now, as she loves it so much and would always wear it. She says it would be perfect to take to the US. Bade then asks her when she'll tell Alif about something serious. This changes Zainab's whole mood. She tells Bade that she'll let Alif go and only tell her, as telling her the secret thing would be like robbing her of her future. Bade urges Zainab to tell it to Alif as soon as possible. They're talking on the topic when Ken calls. Zainab picks up to find out that Ken had been pressure cooking some herbs from the island that Zainab brought with her. He tells her he wants to cook it but there's no meat at home. He tells her that the pressure is making weird noises and Zainab tells him to get out of the kitchen as it could burst. Suddenly, the pressure cooker does burst and the kitchen becomes a mess. Zainab is really worried and offers to come and check up on him. Ken is glad and asks her to come right now. Zainab rushes to this apartment to see if he's okay. Bade offers to hide the shirt and urges Zainab to go. Zainab arrives at the apartment and Ken opens opens the door and lets her see the kitchen, which is an utter mess. Zeynep tells him she'll clean it up soon but can keep staring at her and offers to help. After all, it would be done faster if they do it together. She agrees and they start cleaning, but the tension increases. Can grabs Zeynep and stares at her madly in love. Zeynep blushes and they kiss. They both melt into the kiss. They spend the night together and make love. She wakes up the next morning and sees Can gone. He's already in surgery and she feels betrayed, thinking he used her as well. Can isn't anywhere happy with the situation as he realizes all the complications that this relationship might bring him. He is incredibly angry and shouts at all his colleagues. He sits in the park by himself staring at her photo. Zeynep feels alone and upset as she cleans up the remaining mess. Tufan comes to him and asks him not to break her heart but Can confesses what happened between them. Both of them sit in silence knowing he's broken her heart. That night, Can is working when Baron gives him a surprise visit. She comes in and Can doesn't know what to say. He pours the wine that she brought and Baron tries to look attractive for him but Can has his heart on Zeynep. They start drinking and talking about the medical field. Just then, he gets a call saying it's an emergency and he has to come. Can thinks it's the perfect moment to flee and tells Baron that he has to go. He rushes to the hospital and tells Baron to rest at his place if she's tired, and she agrees. She wears some lingerie and goes to sleep. On the other hand, Zeynep can't sleep and keeps thinking about Can. Alif comes running to her room saying she can't sleep and has a plan to get her to the US as well. Alif adds that she'll make Zeynep have fun in America and she won't have to grind like she does now, but Zeynep tells her she's happy with her life. Alif hugs her saying she never complains. In the morning, the cunning Baron leaves her clothes in his bedroom, and as she's about to leave, Zeynep comes in. She tells Zeynep that Can is already in the hospital and apologizes, that they made the place a mess to insinuate what they did. Even though it's a lie, Zeynep doesn't say anything. Baron mocks her and walks out. Zeynep goes to the bedroom to see her lingerie along with a note addressed to Can. She throws the note and bursts out sobbing. She really did love Can, but he broke her trust. She runs out of the apartment crying. At the hospital, Can and Baron meet. They chat for a while and Baron tells him that she slept at his place as she was so tired. Can's face falls. Baron adds that Zeynep came just in time to clean her mess and fake apologizes to Can. He soon realizes what this means and runs out of the hospital. He decides to confess all his feelings and runs out. At home, Zeynep is beyond furious and so is Bade. She keeps cursing Can for being such a bastard and Zeynep can't take it anymore. She is angry about how she could have fallen for him and how could she be so stupid. Bade tells her that all of this is in the past as they continue packing up for their trip to Italy with Bade's family. She urges Zeynep to be happy and have a nice time during the vacation. Zeynep agrees and decides to gather all her laundry. Bade keeps cursing Can and thinks she'll beat him up if she ever sees him. Just then, Can arrives looking for Zeynep and Bade is stunned. She doesn't say a word and just lets him in to meet Zeynep. Zeynep is beyond furious and is about to scream at him, but he begs for her to listen to him first. He tells her that he's really confused and wants some time, but Zeynep has no intention to listen. She wants to walk away, but he tells her he's never felt like this about anyone and his head is a mess. He wants time to figure it out and explains that he did nothing with Baron and explains the whole situation. He asks her for some time, but Zeynep has had enough. She tells him she doesn't have time for him and tries to walk away. He tries to stop her and ask her for a chance, but she breaks down. She repeats everything that Can told her about Bade's tumor while crying. Something is wrong and Can senses it. Turns out, it's not Bade who has the tumor but Zeynep herself. She doesn't have much time and Can is devastated. Zeynep tells her it's her and not Bade. Can doesn't know what to say but tries to tell her he'll find a way, but Zeynep stops him. She tells him she can't go through any procedure now as she has to gather money for Alif. He asks her to stop thinking about Alif, but she doesn't agree. She tells him crying that she has accepted her fate and can't let Alif know what has happened to her. That's why Bade and her plan is to go to Italy to live out her last few days happily. Can tells her he'll figure it out, but Zeynep doesn't want to and she walks away. Can is devastated. He starts sobbing, not knowing what to do. Zeynep is packing up her stuff when Can pulls her away. He tells her he can't leave her after finding her so late. He loves her and will not let her go. He tells her that he'll go along with her too, but Zeynep tells him he's never free. He promises to make time for her and wants to flee with her. They hug tightly as they realize the love they have for each other. Zeynep smiles as he drags her away to live in the moment. They go to Italy and spend their time together just laughing and chatting. They go on dates and can't help but fall even harder for her. They talk about sweet nothings and walk on the beaches together holding hands. They have fun in each other's presence and decide to make the most out of their time together. They run through the pouring rain together as Zeynep lets the raindrops fall on her hand. Can stares at her for a long time and kisses her face. He's truly in love with her and promises to remember her forever. They go out in the rain and have fun. Can has never lived life so happily. He dances in the rain with her and lets his heart out. They hug each other and kiss in the rain. The next morning, everything seems tense. Zeynep wakes up from her nap and Can runs to her. He tells her he's found a solution and is pretty sure this would work. He begs her to give him a chance and she agrees. At the hospital, Tufan is shocked at the procedure. He is completely against it but Can doesn't want to listen to it. There's only a 10% chance of survival. Ken says that's enough, but Tufan asks him not to ruin her life. This could very possibly put her hooked to machines forever. Ken starts sobbing knowing that what Tufan is saying is true. He tells him he'll operate, but Tufan retorts saying he can't perform the surgery in such an emotional state. He refuses to perform surgery and says he can't look at Ken destroy himself. He walks away and tears start streaming down Ken's eyes again. At home, Elif is devastated to hear this. She asks Zainab how did it reach such a stage and why didn't she tell her. Zainab says that she didn't want to interfere with her scholarship. Elif tells her they could have tried something together. But Zainab just says she's looked into everything and there's no cure at all. Elif is a crying, sobbing mess by now. Elif falls to the ground crying because her sister is leaving her. She curses out saying Zainab is the only one she has and even she's leaving. She can't live alone without anyone in this world, and Zainab cries quietly. Elif begs her not to go, but it's not her choice. She tells her that Ken has a way, but Elif isn't satisfied. At the hospital, Ken presents his idea to the surgical board and no one seems to be on board. Even Tufan says that it's too dangerous as it has never been tried before. Other doctors agree saying she's going to die anyway and there's no chance of survival. Baron pitches in saying she can't hamper her hospital's reputation for Ken's personal benefits, which angers him. He tells everyone he doesn't care and he'll find a way. He storms out of the board. At home, Zainab shows Elif the token she sewed for Elif. It's a sheet of everything close to them that can be used as a memento. Elif hugs her sister, begging her not to leave her alone. Both of them cry quietly and Zainab tells her that she's truly lived her life and wants to go now. She's lived out the meaning of life. They share a bonding moment together. Ken is distressed and numb because he can't help her alone. He has to find a way to treat her. Just then, Tufan gets a call saying one of Ken's patients has suffered internal bleeding and will need an immediate surgery. That's how Zainab gets prepped for surgery. Elif and Bait are anxious. She's trying to say goodbye when Elif stops her. They promise not to say goodbyes because Elif believes she'll come back better than ever before and the surgery will be a success. They hug each other tightly. Just then, Ken arrives and tells her they'll perform the surgery soon. Elif and Bait leave the room as Ken caresses her face. She tells him she doesn't have any wishes and tells him everything happens for a reason. Even if she dies, she'll be happy. Ken cries as he hears that and tears fall down both of their eyes. She makes him promise that he'll always remember her when it rains and he agrees while crying. They share a beautiful moment together and he kisses her cheek, telling her it will be all right. They confess that they love each other a lot, and that's when she's taken into the operation theater. She's rushed into the operation room. Tufan comes in and asks if she really suffers from internal bleeding, but Ken doesn't answer. Tufan berates Ken for lying and going against all the hospital protocols. Ken just ignores him and tells him to do his duty. They get ready for the surgery. Baron is about to leave the hospital when she's told by another doctor about Zainab's surgery. She's stunned. She immediately calls the surgical room and asks Tufan if she really did suffer from internal bleeding. Tufan tells her the truth and Baron threatens Ken, saying he's messing with the wrong board and that she'll take away his license. Ken just says he'll take the responsibility and makes Tufan hang up. The operation gets more intense as the time passes and it's very rigorous. The surgery goes on for hours on end and Ken does everything he can. He tries his hardest to stay stable but can't. He leaves the operation room out of frustration as the operation doesn't seem to succeed. He keeps on thinking and thinking of many other things that might help. Hours pass as Tufan's words start ringing in his head. He goes back and looks at her CT scan. He finds the problem and decides to start again. He asks everyone to change their positions and prepare. Tufan tells him that this is a bad idea, but he doesn't listen. They all try again and yet the same problem arises. It's already been 8 hours and the surgery continues. But suddenly, it starts bleeding and the situation gets complicated. All of them start scrambling around to get the job done. Ken manages to stop the bleeding and rejoices. But then, her heart stops and Ken is shocked. Tufan takes over as Ken gets numb. He leaves the room as her situation gets worse. He falls to the ground and cries uncontrollably. He couldn't save her, but suddenly, her heart starts beating again. She goes into a coma. Ken tells Elif about this and asks her to stay strong and do what Zainab would want. That is love every day like it's their last moment. 3 months later, Ken is at a beautiful home talking to Zainab. He makes breakfast and Zainab comes into the house. She's fine now and very happy. They are in love and live together. He has learned to slow down and live life happily with the love of his life. They go to the market together and come back home as it starts raining. The raindrops fall on Zainab's body as Ken comes back home. He remembers her as it starts pouring just like he had promised. But Zainab keeps laying underneath the rain, not moving. Ken remembers all the moments he spent with her as he walks through the rain in the end.